Thankfully, that is over now. Arsenal continued their amazing form by beating Manchester United at Old Trafford 1-0 in a very interesting game. Despite Arsenal playing awful, they still managed to get the win at the end of the day. So let's go into the game and my quick-fire reactions to the Arsenal win. Now, the recent Arsenal games have definitely taken years off my life. That Tottenham game was incredibly stressful, but I think this game was probably even more stressful. And I kind of need a break from all these Arsenal games when we're going to play like that. Overall, first of all, the most important thing is that we got the win. We needed to go to Old Trafford and repent our demons. We've only won one there in 16 times, and it was obviously when there was no fans there. And even when we are clearly a better team, we have struggled there. And the Man United team lineup going into this game was so poor. A lot of people were expecting thrashings, and realistically, with our strongest team, probably one of their weakest teams ever, I think I've seen Man United play against us, I would expect more. But that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we needed the win, and we got the win in the end. Great goal by Trossard early on. We capitulated on Casemiro's poor defending and a mistake. Brilliant play again by Havertz to get into the space and control that. And although I don't think Manchester United really had that many good chances, I think our defence overall really stood tall, especially in that second half. It was quite clear that the quality levels of our team were a lot higher than them, and despite us playing at the worst we possibly could, we still had enough to win the game. And although Arsenal, I don't think played anywhere near to the potential, and that quite frankly might have been one of our worst performances, especially in the last 6 months, we still had chances in the second half later on where we were having some really good shots, and Onana did some good saves. And I really liked some of the ways that we played in this game. It's quite clear that the possession levels and the team actually wanting the ball in these games has definitely dropped off. And to preserve fitness and preserve the team going into the future, I think Arteta has adopted a system where Arsenal don't have the ball and give it to United. And I said I think this worked against Chelsea and Tottenham, and I think at large parts it worked again. Man United had more possession than us, but we allowed them to have the ball, and they didn't really create too much with it, especially with people like Bruno being out of the side. And although we looked so useless at times on the ball, and I think we made a lot of poor decisions, we didn't really get out of first gear, and that is absolutely no way near to the potential that we can play at. And the fact that we could still go there and win and see out the result shows the levels that Arsenal have come to this season and how much we have improved from last year. I don't know if we would have done that in the same scenario. And when it comes to players that we can talk about, first we're going to talk about the goal. Obviously, massive mistake by Casemiro, just allowing us to get in behind, but obviously with Casemiro in defence and Johnny Evans, that's always probably going to happen. Brilliant play by Havertz in that moment to take the opportunity to go down that wing. I think this just shows the greatness of Havertz in a role. He's not necessarily had the best game. I don't think anyone on our team really did, but the fact that we just need that one key goal because we know our defense is good enough to probably sustain any attack that they have, and he goes and gets that goal. He goes out there and makes sure that happens by brilliant play and brilliant awareness. And obviously Trossard deserves a lot of credit as well. He is consistently this season, especially in the last 4 to 5 months, turned up when we needed it to. And I've been one that has said that Trossard is not elite at anything. He's not an elite ball carrier. He's not elite on the ball in so many different ways or off the ball, but he is elite at goal scoring ability. He is the best finisher we have in the team, and I actually think his movements as a forward from that left side have been very impressive recently. And I think this just shows how good of a season he has had. He's now scored 12 Premier League goals this season, and most of them are very important goals when we needed it. He only scored 1 last season when he came in a 6-month loan, and obviously got like 9 assists as well. But this season he's turned that around for goals, which I completely don't mind. And I think his link-up play with some of the players is getting better every week. And more importantly, I think Trossard isn't definitely going to be our long-term option. He's nearly 30, he's 28, 29. But when Martinelli's been struggling for form and fitness this season, especially the last few months, I think it's good that we can have someone that can come in that is just going to score the goals. He's going to take most chances in the game and can always score that worldie anytime on the pitch. And this is why I don't really understand why people want him to get sold, because I think for the value we bought him for, 27 mil is quite disposable in this day and age, so we could just keep him until he's 33, 34 and then retire, because if realistically it doesn't actually matter getting value for him. And I think him in the squad makes our team better, just in case, even in games if we need him to come off the bench to score a winner or be in the box to be clinical. So I'm very happy with Trossard yet again, big game player, and that's what you need in a team. And the other player that I'm really going to highlight here is William Saliba. This guy yet again, this is the ability that he has. He turns up when we need it the most, and I thought he was the best player on the pitch by far. Now I'll probably do a separate video about how good he was, because I think it was truly special, but the fact he made so many defensive actions, he won so many duels, he didn't even lose a duel the whole game, which I think is incredible, and he was so influential, having so many touches and so many passes. I was really proud of Saliba. I think he is one of the best players this club has ever signed at that age, and if he isn't in the France team, at least in the Euros, I have no idea what Didier Deschamps is doing, because as much as we've given a lot of credit to Gabriel this season, which is completely deserved, Gabriel has been phenomenal, William Saliba I feel like has gone a little bit under the radar, and I think the Man City away game and this away game really showed that he is our top potential, probably in the squad maybe other than Saka, and it's really the future of this club. Saliba is brilliant and yet again so composed back there, especially when a lot of the players around him were very nervy. With the experience levels of our team, they aren't going to be nervous. This is what happened in the Champions League, and I felt like some of the players such as Ben White, Gabriel, maybe even Raya at some points were a little bit nervy in possession, didn't really want to make passes, didn't want to make many risks, and didn't want to go out there and do things. And Saliba was always there being very confident, which he has been nervous in some games, but today was not the case. And on a side note, before this game I definitely would have started Thomas Partey because I think that was the best option, but I think when I watched the game I think Jorginho probably would have been a better option just to keep our nerves a bit down. We needed someone with a lot of experience like Jorginho in there. Not saying Partey doesn't, because he obviously has a lot as well, but sometimes he's a little bit nervous, especially in possession. And even early on in the game where he got dispossessed and they nearly had a chance, it's something that he can be prone to. I've said this before and a lot of people criticise me, but Partey can also be quite pressed easily, and sometimes he loses the ball trying to do his good turn, but obviously they're very good when they come off. I don't think he was necessarily bad by any means, but I think in this game, I think some people said it on Twitter where he was a little bit too loose. We needed a bit more of a rigid structure, kind of needed to be a bit more solid sometimes rather than him going a bit rogue, which is obviously what his role is to do. And you could definitely put it down to tiredness, but I think the midfield three in this game kind of showed why we need to move into a different sort of three next year, maybe moving Rice back into the 6. Partey should probably leave. I want to move Odegaard to the left 8, just because I'm not really sure if it works in these sort of games, and I'd rather have another 10, but I can understand why we wouldn't do that and play Odegaard as the 10 anyway. But overall, this is a monumental win for Arsenal, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if it feels like Man City are going to win the last 2 games anyway. The fact that we've taken the title race to the last day is a lot of commendable that we deserve. We didn't do that anywhere near last year, despite us obviously looking like we were going to. This year, I think that shows the improvement of the team. We have managed to win nearly every single game this year, and we've only lost 1 in the Premier League, which is still an amazing result, and we can't really do as much more. I know obviously we could win the Villa game, but when Man City are going unbeaten for 30-40 games every year, it's very hard to beat that, and we should just be happy of what we've achieved and what we can achieve going future, because this is definitely not the peak of the team. And not only that, given that Manchester United, our record there is quite frankly awful, and the fact we've got a big rivalry with Manchester United, so it's always good to beat them, we've got to take this as a double over them this year, and it's better than we did last year when we lost there as well. And we've got to be happy because we've reached the most wins we've ever got in a Premier League season, 27 so far, hopefully to make it 28 if we beat Everton on the last day. I think that is something to be immensely proud of. There's definitely be bumps in the road, nothing's ever easy, and there will be bumps I'm sure in the future, but I'm very proud of where the team has got to this year, and I think we've made a good trajectory improvement from last year, which did look hard in early stages because of how good we were in that last season. And like I said after we played Tottenham, today let's focus on the fact we won and be happy, and we'll think about the league title next week or when it comes to it. I don't personally think it's completely over because hope is the last thing that ever leaves you. I still think we should be proud that we came second nonetheless because of how well we've played. We have been right there in the title race the whole time, and this team is truly special with a brilliant manager. Let me know what you guys think about this game in the comments. Let me know who your man of the match was and what you were impressed by. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and go watch my video yesterday where I talk about Yoel Hato, potential new signing in the summer joining Arsenal. See you in the next one.